To this day, I still don't know who told HR that I was working on my food truck that day. But if you're watching this, thank you. I never got the chance to tell you that, but thank you. Because if it wasn't for you, I probably would have stayed comfortable. If it wasn't for you, I would have never stepped out on faith. If it wasn't for you, I might have never discovered just how creative I really am. If it wasn't for you, I might have never realized that I was capable of creating opportunities instead of waiting for someone to give me one. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be building the life I'm building today. So at the time, it felt like everything was falling apart. The world was crashing down on me. Somebody saw me working my food truck at an event. HR got involved, and although my supervisor fought and advocated for me, I already knew how this story was going to end because I'm a black girl. It became really simple. Either they were going to fire me or I was going to leave. And I chose to leave because I made a promise to myself that there wasn't going to be another day where a corporation, another person, or another paycheck dictated how I provided for my son or how I lived my life. I decided to bet on myself. Now, let me be very clear. Entrepreneurship is not easy. There have been months I've questioned myself, days I've been exhausted, moments I've wondered if I made the right decision. But every lesson has made me better. Every client has taught me something. Every setback has pushed me to become more creative. Every door God opens reminds me that I made the right choice. Before entrepreneurship, I worked for 3 different divisions of the state of Georgia. I worked for the Department of Public Health at one time, Department of Child and Family Services at one time, and the Department of Juvenile Justice at one time. I actually cared about the work. I cared about the people. I cared about my kids, but I realized something. I wasn't built to simply maintain the broken systems. I'm wired to build the solutions. I'm wired to create. I'm wired to solve problems. And eventually I realized that environment was never going to allow me to become the woman God was calling me to become. It was actually stifling me. A few months ago, I ran into one of the directors I used to partner with when I was teaching in the community. We caught up for a minute and he told me something that honestly didn't surprise me. He said, that position still hasn't been filled, and I really don't know if it has been, not my business. He said, they've hired people have come and gone, but nobody has stayed. And for a second, I smiled, but not because someone else couldn't do the job, but because it reminded me of something that I knew all along. I knew the value I brought to that position. I knew the relationships I had built. I knew the work I had put in. The problem wasn't that I didn't know my worth. The problem was they never saw it, and they wanted me to prove it to them. And sometimes God will remove you from a place that refuses to recognize your value so he can place you somewhere where your gifts can actually grow. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm still building. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still taking risks. I'm still trusting God. I'm still creating. Leaving that job didn't just change my career. It changed my life. It changed my son's life. Because when my grandmother was going through chemotherapy, I was able to be there. When my mom needed help getting her to radiation and getting her to chemo appointments, I was there. When my son needed me before school, I was there. When he needed me after school, I was there. For every award show, I was there. For every soccer game, I was there. Those moments are priceless. No paycheck could ever replace them. Looking back now, I honestly believe God knew what was ahead before I did. I thought I was losing a job, but God was giving me my life back. People ask me all the time if I'd ever go back to working for somebody else. And my answer is honestly, I really don't know. But right now it's just no. I'd rather deal with the challenges that come with building something that's mine, even if that means butting heads with my family sometimes, rather than to spend another day working somewhere that doesn't recognize my value. At least now, every ounce of hard work goes into something that I'm building for the generations that come after me. So to whoever reported me, thank you. You thought you were closing the door, but God was opening one. And 3 years later, I'm still walking through it. I'm still building. They weren't about to fire my potential. They interrupted my comfort. And God used that interruption to introduce me to the woman I'm becoming.